Follow me, follow me. Hey, what it do, y'all? It's your boy E2 Blue coming back at you for the one again, one time. It's Terrible Tuesday because the Dallas Cowboys got their butts obliterated by the Arizona Cardinals last night on Monday Night Football. Embarrassing on prime time. That's embarrassing. You cannot just get. I mean, from a fan standpoint, we don't deserve this. We don't. We really don't. Something's got to give. Something's got to change. We got to figure this out. We don't know what it is. Jane Slater was talking about, the fact that, it's hard for them to get a gauge on this team right now because of the way COVID is. They're not allowed to be, with the team or be in the locker room. So they can't really get a gauge on how the players are feeling, things of that nature. But, now the team is 2-4. So things are starting to spill out into the media now. Slowly but surely, things are seeping out the edges. And you know what happens when you lose? People start playing the blame game and pointing the fingers. That's what normally happens. Now, let's dig into this a little bit. All right. So, as a fan, I'm embarrassed. I'm disgusted. I'm all of the negative things you could say about a football team right now. But as a YouTuber, I have to report. I got to make sense of things, right? I have to find a way to make sense of things. And I sat there and all this time and I tried to think about what does make sense as far as this team, and I got nothing. But I will say that there are some things that we can lean on a little bit. All right. So I always try to keep the optimistic role. I don't know why I keep, rooting for this team to win every game. I guess because I'm a fan and that's what I'm supposed to do. Because real fans want their team to win every game. But with the Dallas Cowboys, it's not happening like that this year. Everybody, it seems like they're ready to just jump off this boat and say, fuck this team. Forget this coaching staff. They're all trash. Let's just fire them, and they just got here, and let it go. I know fans are like, they don't want to hear about the COVID thing and the team not having the offseason, this and that. Fans think this is an excuse, but, it's a valid excuse. It really is, because Dallas Cowboys aren't the only team struggling because of the COVID. They're not. Pretty much most of the teams that have new coaches are not doing all that great right now. You look at that. The teams that are doing well haven't had much changes on their team outside of their draft picks. And maybe a couple of tweaks here and there. Maybe a new defensive coordinator here, but their base of their team is still the same. Dallas Cowboys have completely changed since last year. You're talking about player-wise, you're talking about coaching-wise. The only two coaches on the staff from before is damn near Leon Lett and Kellen Moore. That's it. Those are the only two guys that are still here from the Garrett regime. Now, there's been speculation out that this team, and there's some players out here that's basically voicing their opinion and saying, we're not buying into this coaching staff. More so or less, I think the offensive side is okay. I think they're okay with Mike McCarthy, but more so the defensive side. They're not feeling Mike Nolan. Word is that they feel like this coaching staff is not coaching enough. And when I hear that, to me, that means philosophy. So let me put things in perspective. And I like to look at things from a different angle, and a different angle that a lot of you guys may not even be thinking about. And that's my job to do that. And I like to do that because I know a lot of other YouTubers don't think like I think, but I think methodically. And methodically, I'm thinking from a very cerebral standpoint. And a lot of people are not thinking about they're not thinking cerebrally when they're looking at a football team, because again, you should, because it's X's and O's. But outside of that, you got to look at it's a little bit of common sense with a little bit of just looking into the bare minimum. I know a lot of fans just look at and just see we're losing them like, oh my God, we're sucked. They just go with the go-to. You know what I mean? They're not, a fan's job is not really to look in depth. But me, I feel like it's my job to do that as a content creator, because I need to be like these talking heads, but better. You know what I mean? Because these talking heads, they cover all NFL teams. I'm primarily Cowboys. So as a fan, as a diehard fan, I look more into the Dallas Cowboys and I try to figure out, okay, what is it that is really going on? What is the fault of this team? Now, I'm gonna give you some tidbits, okay? So everybody asked me how I felt about Mike Nolan. I don't know how I really feel about it. I don't think that he's the right defensive coordinator for this team. And I'm not saying that his coaching is bad. I just think that it's not right for what we have. You're a guy, and I said this many times before, you're a coach that comes in here, you're a 3-4 type of coach. You're going to come in here and you basically are trying to make them a hybrid 3-4, 4-3 type of team. I give you credit for that, to try to do both, but this team don't work like that. You gotta either do one or the other with this staff. I mean, with this personnel. If you don't like that, if you want a 3-4 team, well, you need to get rid of like the 80% of these damn defensive players on this team and go get you some 3-4 guys. Because it's not going to work that way. It's hard when a defensive coordinator leaves and another one comes and they have a whole different type of way that they do things. Because, I mean, Marinelli and Mike Nolan couldn't be the most different type of coordinators, period. That's why coming into this, the players are like, well, what the hell is this? See, at least with Marinelli, you know, the Tampa 2 was cool, but it was so lame because it was repetitive. The way that Marinelli had it set up was, it was so simple. It was, you know, they just kept doing the same thing over and over again. You only had nickel dime packages and things of that nature. So it was nothing there of creativity. Excuse me. One thing I will say about the Marinelli magic is that he had a philosophy. So did Jason Garrett. Their philosophy, and Marinelli's philosophy was the ball, the ball, the ball. He preached the ball. You notice that when Marinelli was here, this defense would like crowd to the ball. If somebody would get tackled, they rarely miss tackles, because even if a offensive guy stiffed arm one of our defensive guys, there's another guy right there to tackle him. So that yards after catch never got high enough for them. But you see this year, it's like you see a missed tackle and the guy is like already 25 more yards down the field on just off a yak. And you're just like, and then you're sitting there like, well, what am I supposed to do? Some people kept saying, oh, these players suck. I don't think these players suck. Because you look at these guys, a lot of them were here before. You look at Awuzie, you look at Xavier Woods, you look at Jordan Lewis, you look at Anthony Brown. These guys were here under Marinelli. Not to mention some of the guys on the defensive line too. So they were used to being preached the ball, the ball, the ball. You get a new coordinator coming in here like Mike Nolan that doesn't have a clue about these players, never seen them before. And you're expecting something different. You know, I know a lot of people don't want the excuse of the COVID-19 and not having the offseason, not having preseason, but you do understand now how important preseason and stuff is. And I know that we're more than 4 games in, so you would think that by now they got it. I don't think it's even that anymore. I think the players just like, fuck it. We don't even want to work for Mike Nolan. They fought. See, one thing I can say about Jason Garrett, they did fight for Jason Garrett. They did. McCarthy, I'm going to hold judgment on him. I still think he's a good coach. I still think that he's great. But, you know, Kellen Moore is a young offensive coordinator still learning. So he's trying not to step on the young man's toes because it is his job. That's what he gets paid to do. So you got to allow him to get to do his thing, get his bumps and bruises, because I'm going to tell you right now, there's no teaching. Either you know it or you don't. Pretty much it. So I don't know. I try to make sense of the whole thing. It's frustrating sometimes. I'm not even going to lie to you. trying to understand the balance. Like Jane Slater said, is it the players? The players are not buying in, because she said that it looks like the players, from what she's hearing, the whispers, the things are coming through the cracks right now. You know, that's what happens when you lose. You're now 2-4. People are starting to talk. So, you know, players are showing their disconcern for this scheme, primarily the defense. Players are... I'm so sorry, guys. It was late night from the game. Players are basically going back to instincts rather than playing like they're supposed to, which is not really helping, because you do that and then you're still getting burnt. But you look at these guys, and I don't think these guys suck. They played better before. Even Darryl Worley, that came from the Raiders. I've seen tape of him with the Raiders. Ball hawk. A guy that gets interceptions and shit. You're not seeing it with the Dallas Cowboys. Young Trayvon Diggs, he's trying his hardest out there. I can't even get mad at him. So what are we supposed to do? Tell me, what are we supposed to do? Because right now, it's a barrel full of BS. You let the Cardinals... This is the thing about Kyler Murray, right? And I said this before. And after watching the game in the first quarter, they had, 5 or 6? The defense actually played well in the beginning. But you let Arizona have like 5 or 6 different chances to score the ball in the first quarter. But thank God for our defense stepping up right there. But you can't have the defense in but for so long. If you're giving the other team the ball at midfield, they're going to score on you quick, especially with a guy like D-Hop back there and Larry Fitzgerald and Andy Isabella. They're going to do some things. Now, Kenyon Drake didn't hurt us at all in the game until that 69-yard run catch at the end of the game. Like, you allowed that at the end of the game. That's what doesn't make sense to me. Like, why would you do that? It's like, where the hell were you at in coverage? Goal line stance. We've seen the goal line. We know that Kyler Murray, more than likely, if he's going to give a handoff, he's going to do it himself. Because if they had, it'd have been a different outcome. I don't know. I just... Guys, help me figure this out. Help me figure this out. But like I said, I will say that I don't like the fact that Nolan come in here, and I said this many times before, coming in trying to turn this team into a 3-4 when they're a 4-3 personnel. There's only a few guys on this roster on the defense that can do 3-4. I kind of like what he does with the hybrid thing where he does both sides. But again, you got to have a little bit more 3-4 guys to run that, because your linebackers are not the type of outside linebackers for you. They're not outside. They're smaller. They're hybrid guys. They're linebackers that are made for the 3-4. So that's pretty much it. I think that's all I had to say. Shoot, I'm just as disappointed as you guys are right now. 2-4. I don't know where we're heading. We're playing Washington next week, and if you lose to them, you're done. You're done. So I'm just trying to figure it out. I am just trying to figure it out. Watching these games will definitely give you a heart attack. It definitely will. So let me know what you guys think. I know you're going to do it anyway. I know you guys are going to be sounding off. And I'm not ready to give up on Mike McCarthy. Maybe Mike Nolan. But, you know, you come in here with a brand new staff. You're going to expect these. And I think that the coaches do need to do a better job of trying to understand these players and have more one-on-ones with them and learn with them. Because if something's going on with you physically, you need to get that taken care of and then come back to your team and figure it out. So that's just how I feel about the situation. Being sad is an understatement right now. It's more like utter sheer disappointment in my team because I know they can do freaking better than this. You got Tyron Smith out. You got Lyle Collins out for the year. You got Zach Martin that went out with a concussion in the game. You got Joe Looney out for a couple of games on IR. You just have young guys in their offensive line, and a lot of them don't know either what they're doing or how to run it. You look at Tyler Bates, it looks like he came in there and, strong. And for the last couple of days, he's been doing good. Last couple of games, he's been doing good. The jury's still out on Connor McGovern now. I know a lot of people wanted to see him, and they finally saw him in the game, little baby face. But with that being said, y'all, that's all I got. It's your boy E2 Blue. Always keep it real. Talk to y'all soon. Have a great day, because it's beautiful out. Peace.